I stopped here, right? I wanted to complete this table, so I'm just going to explain again what's happening here. We have got a question on grouped data, okay? It's grouped because the data is in the form of intervals, right? So we have a column for the height, and then we are given a column for the frequency, right? Now, if we want to calculate the mean, the formula for calculating the mean is this one here. X bar equal to the sum of the product of each midpoint and each frequency divided by the total sum of the frequencies, right? So that's what you are supposed to know. Now, in order for you to get on here, you cannot use your calculator directly, like in the case of ungrouped data. You have to create two extra columns, right? The first column is for the class midpoint. Then you also have a column for the sum of each midpoint and its corresponding frequency, right? So we got those frequencies, so these midpoints rather, right? And we got the products of each frequency and each midpoint, right? Then I determine the total of the product of each frequency and its midpoint. Also, I determined the total of the frequency, which was 40. So the mean x bar, which is an estimated mean, is going to be equal to the summation of f of xi over summation of f, that's equal to 890 divided by 40. Alright? So the answer that you will get is going to be 22.25 centimeters. Alright? So that will be your what? Your mean. Now, this mean, you are going to find that it is supposed to be very close to a median, which in this case it will be called the median class. Right? Please do me a favor, even though you're signing, you need to hear what I'm talking about. Right? So the estimated mean, it must be close to the median class, it must be close to your model class. Right? In terms of grouped data, we don't use the word median, say it's a median class, okay, or model class. But when you draw the ogive, we can say median. All right. So I've answered that question. I've calculated the estimated mean. Then we need to determine the model class, right? The model class. Now the model class is 20. It will be 20 is less than x is less than 25. The model class is the one with the highest frequency. The one with the highest frequency is your model class. Okay? The one with the highest frequency is the model class. So, the model class is that. Right? The model class is that. This is the model class. Right? Now, since that's the model class, this is the value of the height, or that's the class interval for the height, that will become your model class. The one with the largest frequency will be the model class. If it was ungrouped data, the one with the largest frequency becomes the mod. Here we are saying model class because it's an interval. Right? Now check this. This estimated mean is between 20 and what? 25. There is a connection. Remember, the mean, the median, and the mode, they are measures of central tendency. In most cases, they're supposed to be close to each other. All right? Any questions there before I move on to the next part? So,
I'm not sure if I promised this question. Since it's you like the things like the quality and then the height, like 5 degrees of
yeah.
it's less than equal to this. It's less than the same.
Yeah, what? This one here? No, it can't be. No. You see, if it says less than, means it's not including the 10. The 10 is part of the next class interval. So it goes up to 9.99999. Oh. Okay? This is a sign that the 10 is not included. Okay? Then the next question, now it's on the cumulative frequency. Okay? This is a new concept which I introduced on Monday. We have never done it in grade 10, never did it in grade 8 and 9. It's a totally new concept. Right? Now the cumulative frequency is just a sum of a current frequency, okay, and the cumulative frequency of the previous class interval. For the first class interval, we don't have a cumulative frequency. Therefore, the cumulative frequency is going to be equivalent to the frequency in this column here. So this 2 here is going to be the 2 that we put there. If there is no cumulative frequency for the class interval, then the frequency and the cumulative frequency will be equal. But the cumulative frequency of the second class interval will be equal to the sum of the first cumulative frequency and the second frequency. That will give you 6. Alright? Then the next one will be 6 plus 8, you will get 14. Then 14 plus 14, you get 28. 28 plus 6, you get 34. 34 plus 4, that's 38. 38 plus 2, that's 40. So, we have got that. Okay? Now, always the total here or rather, the last value of the cumulative frequency must be equal to the total of the frequency. So the total of the frequency there is 40. They have to correspond. You do me a favor and look. Okay? They have to correspond. In my case, I don't understand why someone does not take me serious, because once we finish the matric, we're going to start doing our applications. Next. So we need to take it serious. Right. Most applications, or wherever you apply, you want to see whether you make shipments or not. So take my subject serious. Number 4, draw the cumulative frequency graph, which is also called the ogive. Draw the cumulative frequency graph, which is also called the ogive, to represent the height of the sunflowers after 3 weeks. All right? So here, when we want to draw now, this is what happens, right? We add another column here. Okay, that column, I'm just going to call it points to plot. Okay? Points to what? To plot. This is points to plot. Right? Points to plot. When you're drawing the object, you need to know what are the points that you plot. Let me use this color is much better. Alright, when you are plotting now, the upper limits of your height, in this case, or the upper limits of your class intervals will be your x. The cumulative frequency will be your y. So for the first one, our upper limit there is 10. It will correspond to that 2. So when I draw my order, I must have my 10 and the 2. Then the next one will be 15 and 6. And then you have got 20 and 14. Then you have got 25 and 28. Right? 30 and 34. Can you stop there? 35 and 38. If you want to talk to each other, talk to in that type. Like, I want to hear that you were talking. I'm going to hire someone to private investigator to watch you.
That last point over there, where 40 and 40, would it always be the case of where both of them are equal? That last point.
Okay, it will depend. You see, this is actually unique because of this data set. But it's not always that we have the 40 and the 4. It's the same value.
Yes.
It depends on the data you have.
Alright, thanks.
Right. Are you following what I'm doing? Are you following? Yeah, if you want to boost yourself when you write your first paper, your maths paper 2, you have to know what I'm doing now. And everything I've been talking about over the past days when I started the stats. Well, the stats is the first question, paper 2. If you mess with it, you're going to have problems. All right, so now I'm going to plot, I'm just going to indicate to you that these are the values that will be your x values when you are plotting. All right, so we use those upper limits, right, together with the cumulative frequencies to draw the object. And let me reiterate this, that the probability is 50% that you can get a question on the object in the trial examination and the final examination. Okay? So you have to know what I'm doing now. You cannot enter into your maths paper 2 without knowing what I'm doing. Right? So we have got this now. Now let's plot those points now. Okay, so I'm going to bring the graph, okay, with my lesson. Now I want someone to help me because I'm going to plot now those points. Okay, we're going to start the plotting. My suggestion is, as I'm doing it, you also do it in course. Right? So first, I need to label my x. The y-axis, this will be the cumulative frequency. Right? And the horizontal axis, in that case, it will be height. And it's going to be in centimeters. Right? Are you following that? Right? So we have got our height there in centimeters. Then the next thing I need to plot is then when we copy those values down. Right. So let's start with the first one. It's 10 and what? 2. 10 and 2. Okay. 10 and 2. Okay, so this will be here. This will be here. Wait, I need 1%. I need 15 and 6. 15 and 6. Now 15 and 6 will be somewhere here. Next one is 20 and 14. 20 and 14 is somewhere here. And then the next one is 25 and 28. 25 and 28 is somewhere there. The next one is 30 and 34. 30 and 34 is right at the top. Now, 35 and 34. Wait. He said 30 and 34. That's what I'm following.
No, the 21, so 28 is 29.
This one is 20 and what? Okay.
25.
Okay, wait. Just give me the correct. Okay, is this one correct?
Yes.
And the third one?
It was wrong. It was supposed to be 2.
Can you tell me the correct figure?
It's
20 and what?
40.
And 14.
Yes.
So 14 is here.
Yeah.
Then
25 and
25 and 28. Okay. 25 and 28. Someone is. And then
30 and 34.
30 and 34 is here.
35 and 38.
35 and 38 will be somewhere there.
And then 40 and
40 and 40.
Right. You're wrong, but it's
Okay, so when you draw the object, you have to ground it. By grounding, we are saying you start from the x-axis, but in this case, we have to start from the origin. So you use freehand, and when you are drawing it, freehand. Right? Please bear with me there, but it looks like that. Right? So we have got that. Now, the next thing, after drawing it now, you now have to answer questions from this object. Alright? So let's answer the questions now. Alright, the next question says, use the graph to estimate the median. Right? You're supposed to use the graph to determine the what? The median. Now, I think I told you before, I'm going to write some of the formula at the top. Right? The median Q2 position. Q2 position is equal to a half n. Alright? Are you following that? Q2, the position of the median. Please, this is not the actual median. The median is a height. The median is a height. So you get the median on the x-axis. Okay? But you need to determine the position of that median using the cumulative frequency. So what's the total of the cumulative frequencies? 40. So in this case, it will be half times 40, and you get what? 20. Then you go to your graph. You locate where 20 is. This is 20. You must use the ruler to do this. Right? Then you go down. Right? Your answer will be here. You see where I am on the x-axis. Because our independent variable here is the height. Now we have to approximate it. So that's why the question here says estimate. If you look at it here, it says what? Estimate. You won't be getting an exact value, but it will be an estimate. So we give room for a mistake. So this will be 22. So that will be, if you say your answer is 23, it will be acceptable. 22 can be accepted. Alright? 24 can also be accepted.
And 22.5.
Right, but
22.5. Or you
yeah,
round it
it can also be accepted. So the answer for this question here, Q2, right, the median, Q2 is going to be, well, I'm going to put 23. Right? Or you put 22.5. Right? But I'm going to put 20. But let's see, I'll put 22.5. Well, the height is possible that it can be 22.5 or 22.2 or 22.3, any of those values. But they are very close to what? 22. Okay, let me change that and estimate it as 22.3. This is centimeters. Right? Are you following that? Right. Then the lower quartile, that's Q1. Now to get Q1, allow me to use the different pen. Q1 position is equal to 1 over 4n. Make sure you know. Make sure you know. This will be equal to 1 over 4 times 40, and that's equal to 10. Then you go to your cumulative frequency, which is 10. Right? Draw a horizontal line, then you identify where the value is. This one here for me is going to be 18. Right? This will be 18 here. Right? So my answer there is going to be 18 centimeters. So Q1 is going to be 18 centimeters. If you write, say, 17.9, 17.8, 18.1, 18.2, that can be acceptable. Because it's an estimate, yes.
So let me give you a question. You have the graph and then you have to, there's questions on it.
Yes, yes, that's also a possibility. But you have to know how to sketch it first. Then the upper quartile, that is Q3, right? So your Q3, let me use right? Q3 is going to be 3 over 4n, and that's 3 over 4 times 40, and that's 30. So I go to my graph. Okay, let me use this color. Right. Okay, so that will be 30 6. Right? So 26. Yeah, that would be about 26. Or 26,1, 26,2. Okay, I'll put it at 26,2. It's an estimate. Right? So my Q3 will be 26,1 centimeters. Okay, I'm just approximating. If you put 26,2, 26 itself can be accepted. Because these are what? Estimates. They are not exact values because we are dealing with class intervals. Now, check this out. From this, we can have a box and whisker. Right? Yes, we can have a box and whisker from that. Right? Where our maximum is going to be 40, the minimum is going to be where generally it will start from here. Right? The minimum based on the data set is going to be 10. Right? But we have to ground it. So, but the height of a person cannot be 0. I hope you understand that. Right? The height of a person cannot be 0. Okay? It can't be 0. So, some of the information, especially the origin, you can't have the height being 0. That's not possible. But the shape looks like this. Are you following? Huh? Right. Let's move on. Okay, I've got enough time to finish the lesson. Then number 6. Now, from my experience, somehow you learners, when you see a question like number 6 there, people write all sorts of answers as if it's so difficult. Now, the question says 35% of the sunflowers reach a certain height after 3 weeks. What is this height?
So it's not
Right. So after 3 weeks, okay, look here. Please be aware that all this information here is based on the height after 3 weeks, right? So if 35% reach a specific height after 3 weeks, the question is, what is this height? Right? So you need to find 35% of the total. What is the total? 40. Right? So you do a calculation. Let me just read something here. Right? So 35% times 40. What answer do you get? 40. Now this 40 here is not the height. It's the cumulative what? Frequency. So you go to your y-axis, you locate where 14 is. Then you need to determine that height. The height there is going to be 20. And then you get your answer. You see that it's easy if you know what to do. So your answer here is going to be 20 centimeters. Answer there is going to be 20 centimeters. Yes. Then number 7, how many sunflowers are less than 24 centimeters? Right. Sorry. The ones that are 24, you can approximate them from the table, but if you want to get the correct answer, you go to the object. So let's go to the object. Now we want that are less than 24. Okay, so it's less than 24 centimeters. So here, let me use the color that I didn't use here. Which one now? This one here?
Yeah.
Okay. So 24 centimeters it's here. So you go up. So you start from the x-axis, go up until this point, then you locate the number. So the number is here, and that will be 26. Okay? How many of them got less than? It says less than 24 centimeters. So those who got less than 24 centimeters, how many sunflowers are less than 24 centimeters? The answer is going to be what? 26. Right? Now, if you look at the table, right, 26 is in this interval here. Right? Yeah. Then let's check if the answer that we get from the order is right. Now, so you count 2 plus the 4 will give you 6 plus 8 will give you 16.
That's 14, 36.
Oh, it's supposed to be here, rather. It says 24 centimeters. So it will be 2 plus 4 plus 8 That's 14, right? So this is 14 plus 14, that will give you 28. But now, remember here, we are also including 24,999 and so on, right? That's why you can't use the class interval. So the best answer you get it from the project, which will be what? 26. Are you following that? So the answer for this question here, it will be 26. That will be the number. Okay, following. You got your height 24, right? 24 centimeters. You got your height. You locate your height on the x-axis. So the height is 24 is here, right? Then you draw a vertical line. Then you locate the cumulative frequency. That will be the answer. So easy.